And when they start attacking her age and just that she's old, it gets worse after that. I go, I'm done, because these guys don't care about actually making things better. They're just exploiting the problem and profiting off of that. And real quick, there's I did, like I said, put the link out there on YouTube to see if anybody wanted to like talk it out and have a discussion with you, whether you're pro Fresh Fit or not. And there's, again, the link is there. So if anybody else wants to join, I do have somebody here and I'm going to bring him on right now. So real quick, I think his name's Christian. Let's see real quick. 1 second. 1 moment. 1 second, everybody. Let me set this up. I'll be right back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hold up. Dude, I'm sorry. Got some technical difficulties here. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Son of a bitch. Let's try this again. Let's see. Save. Bear with me. Give me a second, dude. Got it to work.
Finally, everything's all said, like all fine and dandy. I know sometimes technical difficulties can literally be a pain in the ass when you try to work a computer and actually try to get to learn.
Especially when you're live and all that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It could be a pain in the butt, but you know, this is one of those crazy things. But I know it's been like a long time since we like last spoke, because I know it's been crazy and everything. And I tell y'all, this news is getting juicier and juicier by the day. And it's also like a big wake-up call to literally everybody else. Like when you try to leave YouTube or leave LinkedIn or even leave Rumble, and then you're not only just trying to represent yourself up in that little platform, you go off and you basically do whatever you want to do. You get caught on camera in any single platform, you're automatically being represented just like a job, just like an ordeal, or just like even your own company, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying you got to be combined and dressing all suited up every single time you come out the door. No, I'm not saying that. But if you literally act an ass up in public and not treat people with like decency and decorum, and you treat people disrespectfully no matter who they are, it's going to literally come out to bite you literally up in the asshole. And we see that classically with Fresh&Fit, with their demonetization literally a couple of days ago, after 2-3 years of asinine behavior, literally fucking berating and like being like ass swipes to primarily women under the guise of actually trying to help men and try to help women build in relationships and everything. But yet you want to actually try to finesse and fleece innocent, weak, naive, insecure men that are literally struggling in their social lives, and you literally want to literally try to make a profit off of them, so you try to literally capitalize and exploit their pain. And that's the manage they have. And not only that, you drift away from your original narrative by going to all these random conservative shows just to try like to feel like some quick negative, try and like observe your true nature. And primarily mine, because Chris, Fresh, all these other guys, they mainly irrelevant, they mainly yes men, don't even have the balls to literally think for themselves or even have like some sort of rejection when things go down. In the early stages of Fresh&Fit, when I was like an early fan of theirs, I found Fresh&Fit through Kevin Samuels around early of 2021, where I had my little struggles of my own, literally unfortunately getting booted out from the PhD program. And I didn't really fully realize like how impactful myself could be having like a potentially serious 6-figure job. And I looked at Kevin Samuels, and he had the definition of high value men and all that stuff with all those stuff that's there.
Hmm.
and he went on like a show full of like young dudes titled Fresh and Fit. So I checked them out. They got like a decent set with like a bunch of dudes and a bunch of girls actually discussing about dating and everything, thinking everything's gonna be very cordial. And at first, when I look at Myron Gaines and doing this whole Frank Castling, it's more so about dealing with like, not tolerating disrespect at first, but I didn't fully get the whole underlying outliers
Hmm.
until there was a guy that worked for him at the time named Diane Gordon of Authentic Alphas off of YouTube.
Hmm.
And he came by and he actually was actually doing like one of the hosts one time with like an all black panel shortly after Fresh and Fit disregarded Lily dating black girls, and the image was
Yeah.
actually being tinny at the time. And Ian was doing everything he can to literally trying to mitigate and minimize the blow to make sure everything is mainly so as possible. And what happens after that? They fired him, they let him go. And ever since Allende's been gone, all hell has broken loose. Controversy has been spewing out all over the place as far back as August of 21. Even far back before then, when they got like AMP with Playback and them with Agent Double Zero and Low, they had beefs with them. They had beef like another day in coast of Steam to D Worms, even before the Auburn Priest incident literally went down.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the rest is history. And now, look at where they at now due to their ego, due to their hubris and arrogance. And they
Mhm.
literally got humbled right before our very eyes.
Yeah. And Christian, you said earlier, or like a couple years ago, you were actually fans of the show, right? Of
I
Fresh Fit.
used to actually rely on them because I thought they were experienced. I thought they like overcame a lot of hurdles growing up, and I assumed they had like legitimate jobs, and I assumed mine had like legitimacy and all that stuff. But I didn't really fully dig into the thorough research of who I was, like who they were at the time, and I was really sucked in, unbeknownst to my knowledge, and I didn't really have the little snapping moment. And
Yeah.
I had like a little bit of a conflict with my sister at the time when I was actually discussing some stuff that Kevin Samuels was actually mainly doing. And the way I was actually trying to communicate with One Ordeal, when we had this little clip with Kevin Samuels actually discussing like one guest that were there, I was
Yeah.
actually like explaining to the situation it's basically our faults for not actually getting ourselves in line and not basically disciplining certain women that came by whenever they get disrespectful. And they took it literally to an extreme. Even though I meant to say holding them accountable, they had to sign up with like discipline and accountability and all the other stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, oh crud, how the heck am I going to try and literally try to communicate this stuff actually much smoother in a much different way where there's
Yeah.
literally minimal triggering involved? And it really stuck with me all the way through August when I actually got reaccepted back to the PC program. All whenever they literally screwed the whole thing up, and I didn't find out till 3 weeks later, it was actually made it more sour. And they had a little bit of discussion in regards to the whole ordeal. We got so tense saying, oh, he's misogynist. Oh, you hate women. I think to myself, like, how? I thought I had like some sort of discussion where
Hmm.
you heard all this stuff that I watched while not letting me have like some proper discernment. And it took me time because I just can't literally just run out and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to listen to all these content creators again. I got to try and see what they're about. And it took me time to really try to figure it out until the beef came and Auburn Priest literally came by one time and Myron begged Auburn to literally come on and boost a little show. And Auburn literally made their opinions based on the whole pain for boxing, right? And they made their sound opinions on how they felt. And then Myron and Walter mainly literally took it back and really started spewing out ad hominems, literally like acting an ass over like the next couple of days after that. And that's when the controversy literally started to explode. And that's when I didn't really fully take them that
Okay.
serious at that point.
Well, let me ask you this. I know we've been on Angela's stream. We've talked a couple times here and there, but remind me, how old are you?
32.
Have you been married? Or are you engaged? Or are you in a relationship and all that?
Single, ready to mingle, just having a little bit of fun and all those things.
Okay.
No.
So I'm trying to understand because again, when I first discovered these guys and saw them, I saw it as entertainment, but
Right.
then I kind of started seeing the influence that they had and how guys were just taking their words as the scripture. But
Yes.
when you try to remind yourself or like tell me like when you discovered them, what was it? I know you said what you found that you didn't qualify, what you didn't like about them, but what was it about the message that resonated with you, with like where you became a fan? Like, what did you like about it?
It all started with that Kevin Samuels video when he was
Oh, Kevin.
discussing more about with the girl Amanda about fairness and everything and all the advantages that they have, and they
Yeah.
have like Myron Gaines have all the stuff that was there. And once I actually started digging like more into them, basically like how they basically teach men on certain standards, even though when I first had a little bit of red flags, I saw them literally go off to literally an extreme, i.e., they have a
Yeah.
situation when you try and bring like a girl home and they literally teach like other men about sex on command. And if the woman says no, you literally try and put her on the side and call another woman up to see if they're willing to actually get like some quick sex and everything. They come back. And
Hmm.
I know that's a bit of coercion that's really going on.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's one of the big red flags that really just really hit my mind. And the way they said it, I kind of mainly sensed that it was a bit odd at first because even before then, like when I was into graduate school, like around 2014, 2015, studying my master's, I'd never even heard that type of advice. I would actually hear advice from Marty King Reese or even Bobby Rio saying they literally want to try and figure it out. You got to try and make sure you have the healing moment and actually trying to make the women feel as comfortable as possible. You know what I mean? So that they can get settled down and just have some fun, and not think too much about it.
yeah.
Well, that advice seemed a little bit out of whack, and I didn't really take that Lily down seriously. I just actually brushed it off to the side because that's probably one of the advice that Lily would not even bother taking as well. And I
Yeah.
know they have the little checklist as well, saying she's got to be doing all the cooking and cleaning, all that stuff, which honestly it could be like a trait that like any adult could like literally have. But the main
Right.
thing is, are you really going to be responsible for your own stuff? Are you really going to try and like cover someone else's six whenever literally things go on? I understand you do have to be a leader. You have to also lead by example, which is really the most important thing. But you
Hmm.
also have to make sure, as a leader, you have to try and make sure you facilitate as well, and make sure you have to make sure all the people involved don't really get too tired up on you, and really be like a role model for them involved, so that when things actually go left, they have like enough energy to really establish a plate. But if they don't have any energy at all, after coming home from like a very long day of work, and you came and actually called and literally paid getting an angel to actually cover your sixes to try and ease some pressure on like your partner or your woman,
Hmm.
that's like a little bit of like a slight red flag that I also heard of as well. But I never really sunk in too much and dug and got myself stuck in like an hour, 2 hour worth or 3 hour worth of podcast that's really like beneath me at that time, because Kevin Samuels was literally on at that time. At the time he has his like own introductory panels and they have all this like
Yeah.
stuff before they had the call-ins. So all I did, I just looked at the highlights and certain the clips they have when they have all these kickouts and everything. And then
Yeah.
once Allende came by and confessed about the whole inner workings of Fresh and Fit, that's when I had to try and slowly evaluate all the kickouts and like what really goes on, and actually question to see if it's actually normal behavior to actually try and actually handle disrespect in that way.
Yeah.
And you telling the woman literally get the fuck out whenever they actually disagree for anything, and not even reading the temperature of the room. Now I understand you don't really need to curse unless it really gets that extreme, but at least just pull a woman to the side of the process saying, "Hey, you can't be here. Let me get your stuff," and then all the stuff is all made gracious. There wouldn't be no harm, no foul, wouldn't be no issue, especially with the people up in your apartment, especially with the neighbors next door, and especially with the front desk, because they're
Yeah.
literally trying to evict Fresh and Fit off that apartment up in Brickell, where my sister literally used to live up in that neighborhood literally years ago. I know that terrain very well. You're dealing with like about 1,500 to like around $3,000 a month apartments,
Yeah.
which
They're not
anyone can
cheap.
easily afford.
Hmm.
They're really not cheap. Like they could be affordable with someone with like middle class, but they're not like on high celebrity level unless you go down to Miami Beach or somewhere, got all these little homes and condos
Hmm.
and villas and everything. But
Yeah. Let me ask you this real quick, because
yes,
I'm only gonna be live till like another 15 minutes. I just want to get your opinion real quick, then I gotta sign off. But you're a young man, so
yes,
obviously, and you're single, and I'm pretty sure maybe you have a circle of friends that are also single and
absolutely.
dating.
Yeah,
Now, just to kind of give everybody a perspective, like I understand that the audience out there are women that they're talking about, like the ones that they're highlighting. Yes, that's a
yes.
percentage of it, but that doesn't represent all women. Do you see that a lot of young men have actually taken like their teachings or their show or their entertainment as like gospel, and now they're kind of seeing and speaking in their terms and seeing women a certain way, like these guys have been preaching? Do you see that effect out there with friends?
I
Hello?
see a little bit of an effect when I was in a networking event where I know Fresh and Fit were really cool with Andrew Tate. And
Yeah,
I was there literally trying to meet other people, and I saw this dude that I met, and he was discussing about this dude of Andrew Tate and the situation based on his mindset and everything, and thinking that like the Matrix mainly got him, but realistically more so. I get the whole Matrix thing, I fully understand it, but you cannot be fully vulnerable and literally try and be too arrogant so that the mates won't even catch your ass literally down the line. And what Andrew Tate has done, and what's supposed to welcome him on, he was mainly bragging about literally trying to lie to women so they could try and make a webcam business and not be fully transparent. That's like a step of force, fraud, and coercion, literally right there. And they're talking about literally coming by and doing all this choking stuff and all the BDSM stuff that he'd been doing. And like when you brag so much so about criminal activity and about what you go do when lawyers really come up to you, wouldn't you think like Romanian courts and Romanian judges actually gonna get a hold of that and actually not forget what you said earlier in social media? And you wonder why he got hemmed up with human trafficking in continued form, as well as possibly money laundering and tax evasion, because he couldn't even keep his fucking mouth shut. And that's what really upsets me. My mom is a litigation attorney, by the way. He told me like a lot of stuff. Yeah, literally is. She graduated from Harvard Law, and she literally told me a lot of stuff. They literally try to keep your mouth shut if you feel like you find yourself guilty, and then let the lawyers really figure themselves out and handle them out in the case. Like the more you yap and the more you try and go ballistic on all this other stuff and even like go off in your mouth, the more vulnerable you become up in the court of law, and especially up in them prison. Go ask Tory Lanez, where they literally try to have that recorded phone call of the woman when he was recklessly firing shots. And unfortunately, one of them actually hit Megan. She was actually crying, saying, "Oh, I was laying out shots and everything." And unfortunately, because of that call, that's how the jury found him guilty.
Yeah.
And sadly, look at him serving 10 years. Yeah. Which is a shame.
I recall that. And again, Andrew, I don't like mentioning him because I know the video could probably get flagged or demonetized because, again, that's a controversial name and take and all that. But
or even I say TG. If you try to edit it, that's fine. I don't want to try and understand about the whole demonetization. I want to try and be sensitive with the whole YouTube guy.
Yeah, I hear you.
So with TGs in them, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And again, I know like you and the Gray and Nuclear. I know you guys. I know Nuclear's in the red pill space more than I am, but there's always been like rational thinking with the red pill space. And as much as I talk about it, I know there's a lot of great teachers out there that know not to take it to an extreme level that some other people can. Right. And again, it's unfortunate that doesn't get heard enough. It's the viral videos that we see,
it's the controversial videos.
Yeah, like it's always the most toxic element of men or women. And I hate that when men see that. There's this one account on TikTok where this guy, what he's doing is he's recording women in this like street interview. It's like, what's the biggest ick for a guy? And this one girl says, oh, when he puts on a seatbelt. So he's recording the screen and he goes and he has a list of over 100 takes of what these women have said, like, don't do this, don't do that. And he's like, to get a girlfriend, don't put on a seatbelt. But I know it's a joke when I see it, but what I fear, and I know what's happening, is that young men are seeing things like that and thinking that, yeah, these women who do street interviews are women like that. They speak for the majority of women. So yeah, women are full of shit. Women they don't hold any accountability. They do cheat. I saw it on an interview on the street on this TikTok, and that's not reality. God damn it. I mean, it's not reality. Right. It's just a glimpse of just a toxic video, a viral video that was probably just it's orchestrated as an act. It's because that's what sells. And and I come from an age where, again, in the 90s, that's when I was dating, doing my thing.
Yes,
we didn't have social media, so we didn't have. We thought, I mean, if she had a reputation, we knew that she was like for the streets, whatever.
Absolutely,
but it went by reputation. And in fact, she dated him and him, okay, whatever. But we got to know people. We didn't think the worst about anybody. We talked to them, and you needed to have personality and character, and you didn't have to be 6 foot. You didn't have to have money. I mean, that helped, yes, but as long as you were charismatic, make them laugh, and you can dance. I'm talking any genre of music. That's what you needed back in the day. But it's unfortunate that young men don't have that. I mean, I think their influence is getting really clouded by what they see.
Yeah,
and it breaks my heart when in my comments, and I'm pretty sure on your channel and everybody else's channel, that it breaks my heart when I see young men who have given up.
Right.
In the chat, it's like, why bother? Why they want to talk to me? And like, dude, I mean, what do you see that a lot too? A lot of young men have just simply given up. And I mean, did they try? But do you see that?
I know I hadn't really saw too much young men because I literally been busy most of the time. But
okay,
with like all the TV stuff and everything, it's like, from what I've learned and what I grew up with, like having a learning disability and actually going through speech therapists and everything, like there's always some mental and psychological trauma involved based on what happened that actually mainly is caused. So if you know you got like some women literally treating you like shit or anything like that, or even treating you like crud, or they get picky just because, oh, he didn't do this enough, oh, he's born all this other stuff, it could literally mentally put a wreck on you, because I've been flaked a bunch of times and everything. And what really, really does stink about this is they literally think the hard thing that is going to happen to literally every single woman, while little did they know rejection is like literally a whole part of the game. All you have to do is try to literally stay up on your square while literally trying to slowly get better by yourself every time. Stop worrying about literally pleasing people and start worrying about literally trying to protect your own image and reputation literally down the line. Mm-hmm. And that's what they unfortunately don't see. They don't know how to practice. They don't know how to get them up out there and literally just simply talk to people and literally just simply be discreet to people and actually just read the temperature of the room and read the body language. That's why I literally had to try to learn, actually try to apply when my speech therapist actually gave me the book Socially Curious and Curiously Social, because the social world literally evolves very faster than you think. It evolves very faster than you know.
Yeah, definitely. We have somebody in the green room, so let me bring them up real quick and just stand by. Just gotta, let's see. Have to create a new layout, man. That's so insane. 1 second, everybody. Can't have you up there.
What's up, bud? How you feeling today?
Good. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix this because you're like covering me. I don't know how the hell that happened. So 1 second.
Right. Taking over.
No. Yeah. Okay, here we go. All right. So let's save and there we go. Now we're all set. So great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all guys doing?
Good.
In there, you know, I'm doing the usual editing and everything, and just recording the juicy reactivity as we see fit up in Rumble with Myron and Elmu and Walter. You know, people literally losing their minds and probably thinking in the background is, how the fuck are we really gonna pay all our employees now, since the majority of revenue is
they got money. They got money.
I know they got money.
Yeah,
they got real estate and everything. They should be good. No, they should be all right, because if they get demonetized, they shouldn't even be intimidated by the whole ordeal, because they got like literally money still that's actually serving them, and they got consultant calls as well that can literally try to cover them. But why would you try to beg your audience to try and go to Rumble? Either you want to try to be greedy, or you may not have enough money as you think you do.
Yeah, I don't know. They're panicking, and again, that's lucratively. I mean, as far as money goes, that was probably one of their primary sources, of course, because their lives are just so profitable. But great. I know this is the first time we've actually kind of spoken. You've been on my channel, and I know I've seen you on Angela's channel, and I know your stuff. But what are your thoughts on this whole thing with the Fresh and Fit being demonetized?
I'm be honest. I feel like it's my birthday. I feel like I don't like. I will be honest, because I'm real big on you know, of course, being a black man, a minority, but I don't want nobody being censored or just shutting up, because if they can go out their way and shut these guys up, then they can do it to everybody else. But unfortunately, I feel themselves of, you know, disrespecting a whole race, disrespecting just women in general in so many shapes and forms, using selective narratives to fit their own mold of conversation, building their brand on the idea that was literally from a freaking movie, a fictional movie, you know. And I don't know how that became into a relationship, but at the same time, if anybody actually is of a movie buff or just a fan, I know I am. I look at the writers, directors, and know the little history. It was actually something else. I'm not gonna go that direction, but if you know, you know. So, which is even make for me like undercover, like kind of low sus. Like, you're always talking about women, you're always beat down women based on a movie that was something not for women. But with that being said, with all their shenanigans on the channel, was like, hey, it's been a year. It was like a year and a half. They was talking so much crap about other people. Just not, hey, if I don't like Rudy A, let me attack his arguments on his talking points. You know, if Rudy say, hey, you know what? I hear what he said, Great Pill said on his side. Let me counter my arguments with his. That's it. I'm like, hey, I don't like Rudy's beard. I don't like the tattoo. I don't like the color. I just don't like Rudy, period. It doesn't help out no development, especially for a men development show. Excuse me, let me quote them. #1 men developing podcast show, and all you do is show hypocrisies up and down. I didn't like the whole Nick Fuentes, but I'm jumping a little bit ahead because it was like with Lead Attorney, the playbacks, Abram Preach, where they just did strikes. I remember one time that Myron actually mentioned, like, hey, he was to the point where he was literally going out his way to watch people talk about him. And It's like, hey, yeah, it was so scary. We're like, yo, I see you guys. So, I know it was 20. Abbas mentioned 20, and I know Leader Turn mentioned 10 or his end, but it could be more content creators like big name, the little guys. Anybody said ill or just voiced their opinion about how Myron or quote unquote Fresh&Fit moves, they were just getting struck left and right. And that was one. And then moving forward, it was just like the kick out cams, how to handle girls. I remember they was claiming that this is like after the lawyers in. If anybody's actually watched them previously, before in the early days, they had lawyers on. The lawyer's not on there no more. Again, we could speculate on that. Yeah, you could speculate on that. They claimed that they was having guests, mostly the women, sound like NDA clauses or something. So you're not supposed to drink or smoke, but when the actual males come on, they got their phone out, they're drinking, they're smoking, they get high. But this is all Myra's rules of the can't be haram, can't smoke in his house, can't drink in his house, but there's liquor everywhere. Yeah, it's too much.
And to add to your point, like you claim for Myron and Fresh, you claim you're like the number one men's podcast in the world, but where's your sources at?
Yeah, thank you. I was thinking, yes. Thank you. I was thinking of it yesterday.
Call your situation. Where's CNN? Where's Fox News? Where's HLN? Where's Entertainment Tonight? Where's Apple Podcasts at? Or even Spotify? Like shit. Like what?
At least
like TW needle.
Hey, Christian. At least the passport.
Like Esquire.
Hey, at least the passport. Hey, at least the passport, bro. Austin, he was on at least Fox 35, 36 news or something like that. At least he got on the news
too. And you claim you like the number one podcast. Like, where's your sources, dog? Like, how you know? How do you know? How do we know that you legit like have other sources that leave vouch for you? Have sponsorships mainly vouch for you? Have any type of male commercial brands that may be have they vouch for you and what you've done?
Yeah,
that literally like came up in the back of my mind after all these years. I don't know why I didn't even click like a couple years ago.
Yeah, well, you know what, and it's a shame because we all of us are hustling out here trying to build a brand and do our thing, and it's I always get like I shake my head when I see creators like them who find a niche and they're doing well. They could think about the influence and everything they've done right now, but think about the positive influence they could have made. With just male female dynamics and relationships. And it was, like I said, it was that interview with Sarah Dawn Moore that I just showed earlier where she and I have the same speaking points. And when I just saw how they were just really dismissive of her and not even allowing really you're not allowed any platform. They cut you off. You're given 10 seconds each time the mics in front of you are on, and it's just admiring everybody just reinforcing their point, really just sharing their opinions and not offering the chance or the platform to have a healthy dialogue, and they could have done that and they didn't.
And you know what's crazy about that? It was like at least a good few handful that was a guest on his panel. There was a guest on mine first, and I actually was sending them that way, like, hey, this is Fresh&Fit. This is what they're about. And they was like, hey, well, I don't mind just coming to have the conversation, because they was like generally interested in Myron. Like, I want to have a genuine conversation. I want to have this. But that crazy dynamic of like, if a woman is either wrong or they just feel she's wrong, you got one the giggling goofy laugh and the school bus antics, all the cartoon stuff. Like even the recent one, her name is Lauren De Laguna. She was a guest of mine. She she served that country. She does a lot for the community, and she was guest with Destiny. And after she left, she was on her twice. After she left, all of a sudden it was like, oh, she's a P star. She does like video and film. Like, where you get this from? And according to him, he's like, hey, well, the guys sent me all this stuff into my TikTok and my Twitter account. And then I saw the video on Reddit. And I'm like, aren't you like used to work for the FBI? Like, common sense would tell, like, first of all, why would I listen to straight? I don't know none of y'all. If y'all send me some videos, some footage of somebody else, I'm like, bro, I gotta question this.
Right. Oh god.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Christian, you go first and I'll go to Great. But do you think this is over for them? What do you think they're going to do next?
More than likely, they're going to literally spend their time up in Rumble. And I know Rumble is really up and coming. But once the ads come by with Rumble and they make those deals with like all these certain brands and everything, especially with like all these conservative news outlets and everything, the issue with them, I checked their community guidelines up in Rumble, and they also don't tolerate all the racism and all the other discrimination that's there.
Okay.
But yet, mine's literally out here, literally having a hood on up by Rumble, and you got Nick Fuentes literally saying the N-word on camera up in the podcast on that stream in Rumble. And if they catch that, and God forbid they do, and they make them deals, there's a very strong chance, and it could be very possible that Fresh and Fit's days could be numbered on Rumble as well. Given that nature, if they literally try to go that bombastic, hardcore minstrel show route, their days could be numbered on Rumble as well. Once, if they get like some strong ad deals, and if they get like some further ad deals from other advertisers within their way. I know they try to model it like a Fox News model and everything, but even Fox News won't even actually try and take it to the level that Nick Fuentes or mine would ever be able to do.
Exactly.
And
what sponsors are going to want to put their name next to theirs?
Yeah, that's the issue.
Not one.
Not one. And that's why if they do get them, Fresh and Fit days are definitely numbered, guaranteed by that CEO. They say, hey, welcome to the party and all that stuff. But the moment them ad tips starts coming down the money, he will not hesitate to think twice, but to demonetize these guys. Just he's trying to save his own ass.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with Christian this one. I was gonna at first I thought it was a joke, but I'm gonna go ahead just to plug, kind of like I'm gonna help them out a little bit. Since they do all the things with the girls and relationship, they could they maybe possibly get a Blue Chew sponsor. I don't know, I don't know, possibly a Blue Chew. But I agree. But I agree with he's like, no, all right, we'll see. You know what? $5 bet. We'll see in the future. But I agree with everything what Christian's saying. I give it like maybe they might another year or so. If they don't change the direction, I give it another year for them to do the same antics they were doing here, they'll do over there. It's because it's weird to me. Like, it's so much hypocrisy. It's like it's up in the air. But the fact that Rumble did have like a dip in their stocks not too long ago, so I think Rumble might just keep them on a little bit longer just for the money and just for the extra attention so other traffic could come in, because Rumble originally everybody was there just for more of the freedom of speech. That's what a perk that Rumble had for us. Yeah, we go to Rumble, we can say a little bit more because YouTube is doing a little bit too much extra for us. We have to pretty much every rule new day or something happen this, like everybody's doing a lot of speculation, So I think for me, predicting with them, I think they'll stay a little bit longer. I think they'll last a little bit. They do, if they keep going the way they are. But if they smart about it, just kind of just dial it down 2 notches. Be careful of who they bring on as guests. I mean, because I even reacted to the other night. It was like, I'm not a fan of Pearlie's, but at least she was smarter than them, and she did it quicker and faster than they did, because her goal pretty much aligned a little bit like Kevin Samuels. Let's do the whole, the lot of the buzzes and the confrontation. Let me see a lot of the stuff between Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and get all the attention. Let me fit the narrative, even though she's a walking hypocrisy. But then, like, let's say like less than Time and Myron, she was on major network shows. She was on some platforms that was actually in the UK on her own. She just like, hey, this is a friend of a friend. With Fresh and Fit, it was like, hey, this is my homeboy. Let me go on my homeboy's platform that's actually in the UK. It was same lane but different direction they did it. So Pearlie technically did it in a way. It was like, hey, I'm more independent than you are. Yeah, that's the direction I went. So I don't know, but Myron got so much of an ego. The stuff that I seen how he carried himself from the beginning, it's like even if Walter Weeds or the other guy actually mentioned like, hey, Myra, how about this? Or giving a suggestion, I think he's still going to go the direction he want to go. I don't think there's no either room for options or opinions in his world. So I don't know.
He's the main head in all of this. Like whatever doesn't go his way, even if it's winning those guys, he won't hesitate to try and kick them out, even replace them. Because at the end of the day, Fresh and Fit is really Myron's show. And he's going to try and bring some guests in to try and have some yes men right behind them to make sure they try to fuel his narrative and what he wants to do.
My theory though, Christian, I feel like he actually picked those guys out purposely for that reason. I was like, the story lined up a little bit with Fresh. Like, okay, yeah, we met together and we saw it click. But then the other one came in, and the story they gave was like, okay, I feel like he kind of like handpicked them just for like to be the yes man. And then there was another guy that
Yeah.
was a soundboard, but I think he got a little bit more wise and just left. And you got quote unquote Big Mo.
Right.
And I don't want to knock anybody that's overweight, but generally a lot of people like, hey, when they like feel like they big, a lot of people either feel like they feel a certain way or look a certain way. They don't love themselves enough or respect themselves enough. So they kind of want to fall in the cool kids crowd, but they're not the cool kid,
Right.
So because even I think like the recent one, the whole, like I said, again, with the whole Laura De Laguna thing, it's like he was laughing at a lie that he knew possibly wasn't true. And he was laughing so hard, like his whole face was about to fall. I'm like, bro, it's not that. Number one, it's not funny at all. It's not that funny.
Right.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I feel more sorry for him and a few of the women that's actually worked under him, because one of them protested that she was a stripper and left from being a stripper to working for him. Another one doing something else, Instagram, whatever, and working on him. But she was one of the ones that actually sleep with Sneeko, but that's a whole other story. So
Yeah.
you got all these women that's working under you and under commission. So now, according to him, the commission's going. So now if they're hearing and seeing this and they saying, okay, this is true, Myra, what happened? Now the pressure gonna be back on them. Like, okay, now I got to go revert back to what I'm used to: stripping pose, online fans, IG thoughts. So,
and this, thank God that Allende and Large no longer works for him anymore, because the number one mistake that they made was actually letting Allende and Large go, because they would have actually kept the ship in balance and would have kept everything in line. Yeah, I believe Allende and Large actually kept everything in balance. Like Myron would have gone all the way, but because his ego got tuned away, and Allende was like a natural and naturally getting women actually being so.
Well, that I don't know who that is. Who is that?
He was the guy that posed. They said, well, they both said he was the guy that kind of was promoting to bring the girls onto the show, but then him and Myron had a disagreement with money, and he was the one that came to the door. But Myron claimed and Lai said that he kicked in the door, but that wasn't even true. He came with another dude with the phone, so that's pretty much how that happened. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I'll start with you, Gray, because I already answered this about 30 minutes ago. But do you think this is a free speech problem? Do you think their free speech was violated?
No, definitely not. I think the issue was with them, as far as violation goes, with them to just a public and just YouTube, period. YouTube is a private company. That's a lot of people have to understand. We are guests here, first and foremost. At the same time, if you're in a partnership program, like there's rules and regulations here. Compare that to another job. Hey, if I go work at Walmart got hey, here's your handbook, here's the HR, this is what you can and cannot do, this is what you can and cannot say. You cannot scream freedom of speech, but you're going to Walmart, but you're supposed to be the right. You just can't say certain things, do certain warehousing, postal worker, cashier. You just can't say and do whatever you want, and at the same breath scream freedom of speech. It doesn't work like that. Now you may go out your own back in your own private home, but if you married and got a girlfriend and you saying all the crazy stuff, she can look at you like, who did I marry?
Yeah.
So people got to think about that. It can't, I don't really think it was a freedom of speech thing. I think it was the abuse of, number one, fair use that they did, because that in the beginning, about a year ago, easily that was the number one, you're out. It's not, no, let me demonetize you. It's just like, that's guaranteed, you're done. Yeah. But I think the money was talking to YouTube a little bit like, you know what, we'll keep them a little bit, but we're going to keep an eye. Now the articles and everybody outside of YouTube talking and saying stuff, plus the collaboration of a lot of extra people like Andrew Tate. I can't remember the other guy, the one who was okay with actually raping women, and he actually told a story about him drugging women. He just had a disdain for Asian.
Yeah, I remember him. He was like an old guy or something like that.
Yeah, like Dean, right?
Yeah. No, it wasn't. No, it was another guy. He was like kind of like I don't know, he was a rapper or something. Something foul. I can't remember the name, but he had him on.
I saw that.
Yeah. He had him on there, and he said some egregious stuff, and they just like looked at him, but never challenged him, like, or at least gave some kind of like, let me play the fake humanity card, like, bro, you're not supposed to do that, right? That's not good. We're teaching our men how to be better women. We don't promote that. I didn't let them carry on. They didn't do anything. They just let it ride. So
I believe it was DJ Academics, right? That's the one.
No, it wasn't DJ Academics, but he's one of the fools. But he never said he was okay with raping somebody, because realistically, actually got punked by a couple women he was dating. So that's a whole other conversation. But it was a collective of people that said a lot of bold things that was very out there triggering for the platform, just for YouTube to keep looking at them consistently. Yeah. But again, Nick was like the top of the iceberg, plus a line around with Andrew Tate, and it's like boom, it's done. And then he did the whole racist thing, like they were just crazy. Which I would say this now, and I land a plane.
Oh yeah, you talking about the one before? You talking about Zerker, right? John Zerker.
Yeah, yeah. But I would land a plane like this, right? Because a lot of people think because if I'm on YouTube, I am a content creator from YouTube. That's who Myron and Fresh is. But if I leave and go to, let's say Christian got a platform, only a platform on Rumble, and I say all these little negative things I can't say on YouTube, but I say on Rumble, Christian's on platform, and now I'm out in the spotlight. YouTube sees that the newspaper headline and go, the YouTuber Gray Pill podcast.
Yep.
Period.
And not only is it going to affect him, it's also going to affect me as well because I brought him on there. And that's going to affect me as well because I'm a representative of that brand. And that's how impactful that stuff is when it comes with image and reputation.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that.
They don't get it. And it's a shame.
And Gray, I agree with you on that one point. Like YouTube probably saw them, but we've all know, like, especially with Twitch and other platforms, like some of the big time creators, they get a little bit more freedom and leniency when it comes to the rules. Like not like us, smaller creators, where if we make one rule, we break one rule, we're taken down. But some of them, you know, they allow that sometimes.
Yeah.
And they have a little bit more freedom. So I know they were bringing a lot of revenue. I knew they were bringing a lot of attraction and traffic over to YouTube. But you know, it can only be so much. And you know, this was eventually, and I saw this coming a long time ago. And I'm curious. Before I get to that, Christian, do you think this was a free speech item or topic?
Absolutely not. This is not a free speech issue at all. And say if it was free speech, you wouldn't get like equal repercussions by how that company reacts because that company has the right to do whatever he or it wants to do as well in order to try to save its own ass at the end of the day. All right. So don't even think it's like no free speech. This is like a violation when they own private rules. Clearly, it's all lazy fair and everything like that. And to further add what Gray is actually saying, not only doing all these crazy antics, but to literally bring a gun recorded up in the platform to literally try to point it up in Allende. And he had like 2 instances of a gun twice. That's mainly recorded. You got one that's with Allende, and another where you got like some woman that literally has a gun up in the purse that you ain't checked, that you try to put it in DJ Academics, and look what happened now. YouTube got like he kept every single score over the past 2-3 years. And I doubt that they'd be able to actually try to get the monetization back very, very soon. I doubt it.
Yeah, so I think I agree as well. It's not a free speech thing. And as I said earlier, like I noticed as a creator, like some of my videos when I only had like maybe 50,000, 100,000 followers, like some people are like, hey, I decided to leave my wife. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Did you get counseling first? Like what happened? Like it's amazing what a video, this was at TikTok. It's amazing what just a video, how can impact somebody in a negative or positive way. And like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Sure. And they knew the influence. I think any large creator knows the bigger you grow, you have a community. You in a sense, your power, your words do have power. And they can guide them to either sway one way or the other. So they knew what they were doing. And I'm curious, this will be my last question. And again, thank you for coming on. Great. But I got to get off at 10:30 Central my time. But what do you think what the impact of this is going to be? You think Pearl's next? You think the whatever podcast is next? You think they're going to change their format to not be on the radar on YouTube? What do you think the results of this is going to be?
Go ahead, Christian. I don't want to cut you off.
Zerker's probably going to be the next one to possibly go.
Which one?
Zerker's going to be the next one to possibly go because he gone way too much on Rumble. Especially with what he's been doing up on YouTube, like talking so much reckless, talking really like an ass and everything. Pearl probably would actually maybe follow suit, but the thing is, because she's on those platforms and she spews out all these statistics that are actually false and actually putting her on, but yet they try to force the narrative again, and you still bring those people on, there could be like a very high probability that she could also be swiftly demonetized as well. Yep. Now that you have the mainstream media literally up on your ass, and now they actually keep a score of you, there's another strong chance that she could be able to literally be demonetized as well. Mm-hmm. And whatever's going to be fine. Like Brian's able to handle himself in a very smooth way. Even though he forces a narrative, he's able to actually communicate with his points very smoothly and professionally, and he doesn't really fully act an ass. Stunt lifestyle, with them, they actually shift the interviewing celebrities and everything. They're actually being very respectable, toward their guests. They're going to be okay. They're actually going to be doing very well. Saying the center with like Marquette and everything. I know they really hadn't had that much heat, but he's
Mhm.
more of the calm moderator and actually trying to handle things in like a much professional like outcome, even though there's some women that actually have some fights up in his podcast and everything, which he has to actually try to curb that out because he could be on the radar, but I don't think he's going to be really hit that deep with the monetization, which leaves us to Unfiltered Podcasts. Angela's former employees there.
Oh,
And
those
I know
guys, yeah.
King Song and all this stuff. And I actually want to
I think
join.
I heard that. They said Unfiltered.
Yeah, Unfiltered. Yeah, they're actually trying to be Fresh and Fit Junior, doing like the same old stuff.
Oh, the younger cats.
Doing them younger cats that don't even know what the heck they're doing at all. Literally trying to solve with their little fancy cars and everything. I don't even know how much their net worth is, but you got like a co-host that claims he's the owner of like a luxury rental place, but yet who knows how long he's been up in this business. Is his business family owned? He actually teaches the nature of the game on how to actually manage the cars and actually how to maintain these cars, and
Who knows?
there were insurance, but God forbid an accident happens. How we prepare for that?
Mhm.
How you prepare for all these investments? So I do have a lot of questions between the rental car owner, the luxury rental car owner, the single dad that's basically being like Myron Jr., and then we got King Son actually screwing up the same old narrative, saying that they live all this crazy lifestyle, but yeah, we don't have like any thorough background knowledge of any prior successes of what they've done prior to the podcast at that point. That's my issue is with them. And I fear that if they continue the mining route with them, they can be demonetized way sooner than you think as well.
Yeah. And what I hope happen, like I said, I don't want creators to lose their platform, but if they become like in a toxic space like these guys did, obviously, and just took advantage of it, I think people should intervene like YouTube. Again, this is YouTube show. We're just guests here, but there's a lot of female creators who are anti-men who do the same shit.
Same stuff.
We gotta look at them too. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've been on TikTok for 3 years, and I've been banned 6 times, and there is a bias on TikTok where if I just say anything that's not, I'm not anti anybody. I'm a common sense and accountability for everybody, right? But at the moment I just speak anything about like some women do this, I've been banned, but there's other female creators are just anti-men. They're being celebrated. They're getting blue check mark. They're getting shows, and there is a bias and a double standard. So I hope that carries over to YouTube. Like, hey, it's not just these guys. There's women over here too that are doing the same thing, and we're going to keep them in check. I hope that it's fair. It's got to be fair.
And to be honest, with the whole Fresh and Fit situation, I'm honestly happy they demonetized, and I don't really feel bad for them one bit. Because look at them literally talking crap to behind other content creators' backs and really disrespecting them behind the scenes. While they're literally trying to give them a push and actually trying to help them, or actually trying to get them up off the ground. But because Myron, he's being extremely arrogant, being extremely disrespectful towards Kevin Samuels, the roommates, literally to name a few, and all these other male content creators, saying that he's gonna try to outlap every one of them while not really fully know how YouTube's algorithms work. And look where his ass at now. And I'm enjoying every bit of it, and I don't feel bad for him one bit.
No shame.
I don't.
I love that you're just completely honest. Like I don't feel bad at all. Fuck them.
Get them. Good night.
Yeah.
Oh man.
As he was talking, I was like, dang, it's a lot of them out there. But Unfiltered Podcast is the newest guys around the block, so I don't know. It's kind of like up in the air for me. Just watching how they move, they might change and develop a little bit. Whatever podcast, they're pretty much on the, there's a lot of hypocrisies. I don't think he's too just the main host himself. He's just not too opinionated because he's let everybody get around to Robin for the conversations. Also, it was one moment that I feel like it was like kind of like a reality for him where all the women actually just got up and left because he wanted them all to change his shirt. So, but see, I love that podcast only because the women there actually have some sense. Because the same women, that same kind of group of women should have been the same kind of group of women on Fresh and Fit. Like, yo, we know who they are. We know who they're about. Let me go over there, Fresh and Fit, as a collective, 8, 10 large. And if they all act up, let's just leave. That's literally how you're supposed to act. You're like, yo, I'm a woman, like bros code. Hey, this ain't it. Let's all go. Man, I'm not going to get it's not hey, man. She's asking for it. She's begging. No. We got to go. All right, cool. We all in line. So I definitely think they're going to be fine. And they've been around for a long time because I even noticed that how Fresh and Fit actually changed their thumbnails a little bit, comparing it to whatever podcast. And then Zerk is another one. Actually, he was kind of moved up to the top list, but to the rank one only because it's antics a little bit. But when I heard Destiny and somebody else how they spoke of him and certain things, how he behaved, like he was kind of checking Sneak a little bit about his behavior with another female and stuff. So I feel like there's a kind of beating heart there. You can't barely see it because a lot of acting. So I don't know. I think when he get there, he'll move a little bit differently because most people, like from what I seen coming up, they'll do all this crazy stuff just to get the numbers up, get the views. And then the direction kind of change a little bit and they'll be more balanced out. And people are like, okay, I knew Zerk was the guy.
Yeah.
Pro things, I'm gonna say no. I think she's just gonna be still doing the same antics a little bit, just like the buzz stuff, because she knows what she's doing. And I'm speaking more of her TikTok. And if you follow, she's like a gossiping girl. She'll say the most egregious stuff when they get like 1,000, 1 million, 100,000 views. But then from there, she knows what she's saying, and then she'll just like delete it. But she kind of slow on the gun.
Mm-hmm.
People actually screen records, so is that part, but she'll still deny it and just like play dumb about it.
Especially, I think her dad would probably protect her more.
Yeah, I think he's been doing that ever since. Like if you even see like go scroll all the way down when she's with her dad, it's the same pattern. Even the conversation where she had the whole family on is the same pattern. It's like a culpability with one another there. Like one might shame the other, but the hierarchies, especially the father, it's like, okay, we'll let this slide. We'll pay this on the table. So she got that umbrella protection, so she's fine. And plus, she's seemed like the type of girl, like if let's just say YouTube do fails, she'll be on Rumble. She's fine. She'll be somewhere else. She'll be fine. But she'll be that one to say, well, like TikTok. Well, if I had this, I can always build it back. Well, at least I had Rumble, so she had them bragging rights. Yeah. Rolo, he's not going where. He's been fine. He's been on other platforms, other networks, other events. Anytime he talks on himself, he pretty much is venting like a baby, which is fine. Yeah. I can't knock him for doing that, but it never changes. I just wish he actually grow up here and go back and debate other females like he did the actual Lauren. That was fun. MLD, I think he's just gonna fade out on the sunset of his own. But I heard rumors that he was actually traveling out trying to do the passport bro thing. So he's just comedy. Donovan Sharp. Yeah, Donovan Sharp, straight trash. There's no there's no words for that.
He cracks me up.
He's just comedy.
It's satire.
His track record to speak for itself. If any time, and it's for the ladies out there, if he ever decides to go back to SOS, even though he claimed he don't want to be there no more, ladies, just throw all his own receipts in his face and then just throw the hypocrisies at. You're good. Mm-hmm. Saint the Sinner, he's been under the radar for a long time. People like Duke the Dawn has had I think it's like his Batman to Joker type thing. That's what they had going on for like a hot minute for a year or two ago. So Saint the Sinner been fine. Just you kind of got to be a little bit clever than the snake oil salesman that roll up into town, and you're pretty much good. But just understand the hypocrisy when it comes to you, because he's a good car salesman. That's what he reminds me of. The guys from Vegas, they'll be fine, but I think they're gonna do a lot of work with Pearly, because since she relocated down there, she's doing something she called the Audacity show. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, SOS. Definitely think they'll be fine. Yeah. He's a Jew. Nothing wrong with that, but he got he got them connections, that big capitalist mindset. Even when he did the one with the I don't know if he was a TS, or he was just pretending to be a man dressed in drag or whatever, doing that whole comedy bit. Mm-hmm. That scene actually reminded me from the movie V for Vendetta. Mm. And they flipped the scene and was like doing a little antics or whatever. So I think he was like flipped the scene, playing the role as a TS to try to make some kind of point, but they didn't cross the level of disrespect to the point where everybody come at you, because they had people there arguing against that narrative, so other than that, that's pretty much it. My whole thing with everything else is just be careful of the negative influences, like you said before. If you say something, people, as we've seen, people literally believe it. You read their comments in the chat, they're just saying the egregious stuff, like there's just sheep, drones in their comment section. They still believe the stuff they say. So it's ridiculous. So be careful of negative influences.
Yeah. And again, guys, I really do appreciate this. I definitely want to do more of this, because I saw Angela's not gimmick, where she says, "Hey, everybody come in and chat and all that." And I'm like, "Hey, I told her I'm gonna rip that off." So I definitely want to do this more, where I invite more people over and have.
It ain't new. It ain't milk.
It's, I know, it's not like she invented the damn thing, right? It's something that I just wanted to just get the community out, just expand upon it and just have more perspectives and all that. But I'm going to let you gentlemen go. So Christian and Great People, thanks again. Thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate this. And I'll see y'all next time, all right?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Take care. Let me sign you guys off real quick. And ladies and gentlemen who are watching, thank you for watching this whole time. I really do appreciate this. Again, how can I wrap this whole podcast up? Again, like I've said many times, there's a lot of hate out there. There really is. And there's a lot of people that are confused. There's a lot of people who are lost and hurt, heartbroken, all that. I've been there. I've lost everything. I've gotten divorced. I've lost my home, my kids, and I lost my everything I've ever had. I've lost it, got it all back. But it takes time to do that. But I've been in that lonely spot, and be careful who you take advice from, is what I've always said. Be careful, because people can really, when you're at your weakest, people can take advantage of that and just lead you astray and promise you answers that we're all looking for. But just be careful with who you follow. And again, I'll end it on there. But speaking of follow, again, if you haven't done so, I'm going to keep asking everybody, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I think I just broke 2,500. Keep it going. Keep it going. I want to have a lot. This is going to be my primary outsource for all my content. Please subscribe. If you want to be a channel member, please do so. I would definitely appreciate that. Any contributions you want to give to me, it's going to go to overhead, everything that goes to the show. I don't have 20 people like the Fresh and Fit guys. It's just me. And I'm not going to lie, with my son who's here 8-9 months, my love witch lives here. I got a senior in high school, a daughter in college. I don't know how I make the time. I don't know how I find it, but I do. But I love doing this. And I'm only going to get better. I promise you that. But I love the community. Diamond, I know Dorothy, everyone here, Nuclear, everybody that's on YouTube, Miss Hess. I love seeing your faces. I love seeing you guys every time I go live. And we're going to do more of this. But again, everybody, thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate it. Good night. God bless. And take care. All right.